After the close of the Shell industry in 2005, it became more urgent that the government, that the country as a whole, should find new areas for employment generation. We determined that we have a precious resource and that we will use that resource to attract investment into our country. And so I would say added attention and deepened interest will be placed into the citizenship investment program, because that is perhaps the most respected program, respected for its longevity, respected for its reliability, respected for its experience. The program has paid acceptance across the globe because in China, in the Middle East, holders of our passport enjoy visiting many people of 150 countries, and many other countries can host the level of mobility and career citizens. And I think as our citizens, After the close of the sugar industry in 2005, it became more urgent that the government, that the country as a whole, should find new areas for employment generation. We determined that we had a precious resource and that we will use that resource to attract investment into our country. And so I would say added attention and keeping the interest put in place into the citizenship by investment.
we view infrastructure as being important to the economic development of any modern country, and St. Kitts is a modern country.
After the closure of the sugar industry in 2005, it became more urgent that the government, that the country as a whole, should find new areas for employment generation. We determined that we had a precious resource and that we will use that resource to attract investment into our country. And so I would say added attention and deepened interest were being placed into the Citizenship by Investment program. At present, it is perhaps the most respected program, respected for its longevity, respected for its reliability, respected for its experience. The program has attained acceptance across the globe, in Russia, in China, in the Middle East. Holders of our passport enjoy visa-free entry to about 150 countries, and not many other countries can boast of that level of mobility granted to their citizens. And hopefully, as our new citizens come and they bring with them new people, our collective imagination can be excited to the more. The sky is still the limit in terms of our potential. My own view is that St. Kitts and Nevis must show itself at all times as the best managed, sustainable, small island state in the world, and we will make it a wonderful experience for all.
We ask you to come here and these sacred grounds so that we as a government can say thank you for what you have done in the past and what you continue to do as role models, as exemplars, sending on and passing on the values of industry and pride in self to the younger generation who need that kind of father figure. This event is taking place on National Volunteers Day, a time when as a government and as a country, we ask everyone and each one who is willing and able to give something back to their community. And I want you to pray for the young people, for greater discipline, so that our country can be what it ought to be, a beautiful country where peace abounds. May God bless you and do what you are accustomed to do. Pray for the government and pray for the country, for nothing beats prayer.
Community Consultations, a town hall meeting series hosted by your Team Unity government. Team Unity Community Consultations continue this Tuesday, March 19th, 7:30 p.m. at the St. Johnson's Community Center, constituency number 3. It's your time. Communities from Hainsmith to West Farm, Boyd, Trinity, come and engage your Team Unity government. Express your views, your ideas, your expectations regarding the development of your community. Community Consultations in West Bastia, this Tuesday, 7 7:30 p.m. at the St. Johnson's Community Center. Come dialogue with your team unity government as they continue their quest, making dreams a reality in every community. I'll see you there.
with the national anthem. Please stand. The anthem take over. Land of beauty, our country, where peace and love, our children stand free, on the strength of faith and love, with God in our struggle, stand kings and be the sing. Our nation come together with a common Please remain standing for the prayer. Is the person saying the prayer here? Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering us here again for another community consultation. It is good when we can come together in unity. We ask, Heavenly Father, that as we go about tonight's program, that it may be to the benefit of all of us. That it might be that dialogue, that community consultation, where the government and you can seek the best for us in terms of overall development. We pray, Heavenly Father, for all those who will speak tonight. The Honorable Patches, Ian Patches Liber, and our Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris. May you give them the wisdom, the right words to use to edify us all. We ask, Heavenly Father, that you may be with us in a very special way, enlightening us with your Spirit, so that you may open our minds, open our hearts, to recognize all that you are doing for us in St. Kitts and Nevis, to those make this prayer in your name. Amen. You may be seated. Senior Minister, the Honorable Vance Amory. We have the Honorable Lindsey Grant, the Honorable Ian Patches Lyman, who is just gracing us with his presence. We have the Honorable Wendy Phipps, and we have the Honorable Akila Byron Nisbet, who have just joined us. And all of you, again, very welcome to this community consultation, making dreams a reality in every community. And tonight, of course, we are going to hear how dreams are being made a reality in every community, and how the government is working for you. You know that program called Working for You? You know that program called Working for You? It wasn't by accident that we came up with that name. The government is actually working for you. And week after week, you hear from various officials and so on, and ministers within the government, in terms of all that they're doing, how they're working on your behalf. So tonight we're going to hear a lot of that. And we will hear too of what you would like to see, what more you would like to see, and some of the things that you're really appreciating as well in terms of how the government is working for you. And tonight I'm going to throw out a few questions. In terms of, I want you to tell me some of the things that the government has accomplished in its 4 years in government. Just a few answers, and then we'll get to the first speaker. Just put your hand up and tell me. What are some of the things? Right, and so we have a major road rehabilitation project going on. The entire Island Main Road, phase 1 is completed, and phase 2 is about to start. What else? I know you know. The Old Road Bay project. The roof project, the hurricane repair roof project. The second cruise fair, which is in progress. Nuestros hermanos de la República Dominicana. ¿Qué hace el gobierno para ustedes? The $500, he says. The $500, the much needed relief with that $500. ¿Qué más? Alguien dijo esto. What else? The new bus terminal. The houses at Wellington Road. What else? A lot of new home earners. NHC. Anybody here is a new homeowner? Let me see your hand. Huh?
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. What else? I know you know. You know what the government is doing for you. It is no secret. ¿Qué más? Cheaper flights. Okay. Everybody wants cheaper flights. What about the removal of VAT from what? Food, medicine, and funeral expenses. The sugar workers, $16 million paid out to sugar workers. What else? The Tabernacle Health Center. What else? The traffic lights. Traffic lights. The Sandy Point New Station being built. The forensic lab in Tabernacle. What else?
Point Garden, Shadwell roads are being done. We should have some casting tomorrow of those roads.
Right. So roads in Shadwell and Pine Gardens are being done. What else? A lot of what? A lot of cruise ships are coming to St. Kitts. That we need a second cruise pier. What else?
Roads just finished, resurfacing.
Thanks to Minister Grant. Yes, he's the Minister of Tourism. A better relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis.
Roads being resurfaced at the industrial site and at the old factory, the sugar factory.
Right.
Economy.
Roads again getting better. What else? Mary Child's Hospital. And you know we can go on and on and on. And you see,
the transmitters for the fishermen them to know where they are now.
Right. So you see, it is no secret. It is no secret what the government is doing for you. The government is working for you. And there are so many things that you can say. And that is not half of the story. That is not even a quarter of the story that you have spoken about here tonight.
Money has been given to the farmers them to move on.
Money has been given to the farmers. Investment in agriculture. And you can go on and on and on. It is clear, it is visible for everyone to see. But we can go on all night. Welcome to the and now that the Prime Minister has arrived, I'm sure he was listening on his way in. And he heard all the good things that the people were saying in terms of what the government is doing for them. And the list is not exhaustive. And yet, the people know it is before them. It is not a secret. Everybody in St. Kitts knows. Who don't know is who don't want to know, right? They will see it. Okay, we are going to introduce our first presenter tonight, who is the Honorable Ian Patches Lyman. And Patches just dropped on some lights down in the Newtown Adam. Remember, last week, he said that he was going to have some party down there and lock on some lights. Well, he delivered on the promise, he locked on the lights. Patches.
Thank you very much, Mr. Master of Ceremonies, Senor Destroy Williams. A very pleasant night to my Team Unity family. consists or comprised of three parties. The People's Labour Party. It concerns Citizens Movement, CCM, and the People's Action Movement. Now, 5 years ago, we came together in unity, and until today, we still remain one big family. Family? Yes, we're one big family. And this was the will of God, because many of us bruised our knees and we prayed. And the good book in the Gospel of St. Mark, Pastor, and I like the King James Version, which says, what therefore God has put together, no man what? No man can put asunder. No man can separate. Say that like you mean it. What God, let's hear us together. What God has joined together, let no man put asunder. So I am honored and I'm humbled to be here with you. And I want to recognize at the head table our distinguished Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris. I recognize our senior minister and my cousin Vance Wickworth Avery from the Ward for Needed. I recognize the Attorney General Vincent Byron, our Senator Wendy Phipps, and our good Tourism Minister, the Honorable Lindsay Fitzpatrick-Grant. I did call AG, yes I did. You want to call AG twice. Give the AG another round of applause. So I am honored and I am humbled to be a part of this team unity government. And I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with the opportunity to give an account for my stewardship within the ministry and my stewardship as the parliamentary representative of East Bassethill. East Bassethill House. And as the chairperson said, we put on the lights on Sunday and we had a ball, didn't we? Yes. Everybody was there. Yes. Me and the man was communicating, the public was again. They were there. And as a minister in this historic administration, I am happy to be part of this government which continues making dreams into reality in every community. Right. Tonight I bring you greetings from constituency number 1 and to the people of constituency number 3, West Bassethill. I bring you these greetings through your lovely representative, Akina Byron. And I take this opportunity to congratulate the Special Olympians right now in Abu Dhabi, in Dubai. And they are having a wonderful and a successful time. Some of these Olympians attended Cotton Thomas School in this constituency. And today I have learned that they have already captured 7 gold medals. 2 silver medals, 2 Olympians, Special Olympians, as they take part in these sports. I must also commend the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister with responsibility for sports, who is there in Dubai providing the leadership to these Special Olympians, and we want and we ought to give him to a wonderful round of applause. Accompanying the delegation is Miss Cotton, former principal of the Cotton Thomas School, and she too must be commended for her efforts with these Special Olympians over the years. While I'm on the subject of sports, let's go to the Cotton Thomas School in the Patsy Allen Square Field, which will be upgraded shortly. The drawings and all the designs are already completed, I'm advised. And I know that Yoke Taker, am I okay to say representative? Yeah. Yoke Taker representative, the Honorable Akila Byron, even outside of office, has already approached and formed partnership with the corporate community, and she will start the repair works on the bathrooms and other facilities over there at the Patsy Allen, and she deserves a round of applause. Now, imagine she has done that outside of government. Could you imagine when she gets into government? Could you imagine that? Wow. Moving on to boys. I'm going to focus on number 3 for a while. Moving down to boys, we started a project at the boys' playing field in 2017, and works is still ongoing. Metal bleachers have been installed on the basketball court, and gable baskets have been installed on the southern portion of the football field in order to retain the soil and mitigate, to reduce the risk of soil slippage in the area. In summary, the project at Boys included the construction of a retaining wall, construction of drainage, a gazebo, bathrooms and lighting for both playground and basketball areas, along with the placement of playground equipment. For your guidance, the SKN Metals of St. Kitts was contracted by the Ministry of Sports to execute the works in the amount of $295,479. We are spending money wisely on the community in Boys. In addition to what I just mentioned, the playground area was designed and implemented late last year and is scheduled to be completed shortly. During this fiscal year, during 2019, the boundary fencing at the southern and western sides of the compound at Boys will be undertaken under this capital project. The estimates are currently under review at the Public Works Department. The bathroom on the section with the basketball court and children's play area is almost completed, as is the gazebo, which has benches and other amenities over there. And most of the equipment in the children's area, in the children's play area, are already installed. When we took office in 2015, there was nothing at the boys' field but weeds and grass. And I showed politics used to graze the animals in the field there. You see politics here? Nothing was on the field. And we as a caring government decided to address issues over there on the boys' field. There were no lights when we took office, no seating, no basketball court, no fencing, basically nothing. And I believe now second division football is even being played on the field. And we have to commend, you have to commend your team unity administration for the vision. And you have to commend your caretaker, Aquila, because it was the influence of that woman that made a lot of these things go in the community. And I can tell you that Aquila is persistent, because when she learned of the road infrastructure in Chapel Street, down in Birchilds, up in Taylors, in Cartpath, and Romney Bowl in Sandy Point, and over there in Point Garden, Aquila asked me, Patches, what about my roads? I said, Aquila, what about your roads? If everybody gets roads, she must get roads. And we are going to address, and I've spoken to the minister with the money, we are going to address the roads in Boys Housing Project, the low part of Boys Housing Project, we will address those roads. We are going to address the roads because in that area, there's about 3 miles stretch of roads, 243,000 square feet of roads to be paved. But if you had to pave all of it, it would not meet or fall within our budgets. So Aquila will pay the low portion, for those in Boys, the low portion in this first phase, and that's almost $4 million. We are also going to address the drainage. The drainage for the water that comes from the Fairfield area goes down to the Guanti Ranch Primary School, and we throw that water into the gut. Because it's important, when we build roads, we also provide drainage so the water can run away. Because in Landkill, I spoke to a lady on Saturday at the Pascal's playing field. In the old days, the former administration never built drains to take away the water. They built soakaway pits. So the water run into a soakaway pit, and what that breeds? Mosquitoes, germs. So we are going to, in Landkill, address the drainage in Landkill, and we are also going to address that dirt road just next to Manhattan Gardens and build up the roads in number 3. And I want you to give a round of applause to Aquila for her efforts. But we are addressing the infrastructure efficiency all over the country. You just heard about the Island Main Road resurfacing phase 2. You heard of the old road reclamation. Additionally, you heard of the new cruise pier. You mentioned the new cruise pier. You mentioned the East Coast Terminal, the traffic lights, and so on. We are also addressing the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw International Airport. We made that facility run down as well. Run down. We got stretched and almost had to close the airport because that facility, that runway, was run down. So we have spent or are spending $41 million to upgrade the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Airport. We're surfacing the runway. We are repairing Taxi Alpha, and the next phase, after we have completed the runway, brand new runway lighting, we are going to look at the apron parking, which as well is failing. So, your team unity government continues to work hard on the continuing development and modernization of St. Kitts and Nevis. But my family, I want to warn you tonight, as I did before. Do not be distracted. Do not be distracted by what they call the perpetual oppositionists. Do not be distracted by the armchair critics on social media and on the radio. Do not allow them to distract you. This is not a time for trial and error, because in number one, I don't want to sound boastful, but I have been tried. I have been tested. I have been tried. And if you tell me I'm not performing, then I'll go home. I'll go home. And would you believe, my family, we have a candidate on the opposite side who says he's a slow student. He's a slow student. Do we have time for slow students? We don't have time for slow students. He said he went to 1A6, 2A6, 3A5, 4U6, 5U6. He said he repeated in 5U6. And it's been a long time in school. But we don't want a student to mess up with development. Jean spoke about John Compton. You want somebody to come and kick down the bucket? You don't want a fool. He said time for foolery. He said time for that. Imagine, the man said that I asked him not to run because I don't give me leadership. You believe me? Me leadership. I thought he played the tape for him, but he ain't playing it. He leadership. He don't want the leadership. Right? You heard that? Is this what you want in government? Answer me. Is this the kind of leaders you want in government? Huh? Oh man. But my family, he's not ready yet. He's not ready yet at all. And he's not going to be ready again. It's not time to play around with our development. We need people who are competent, people who know what they're doing. When I heard this man say he don't want my leadership, he reminded me of a politician long time in the R.L. Bradshaw days. Mr. Bradshaw, Premier Bradshaw, took him on a trip to England. And when he got on the British Airways, the flight attendant came to him and asked him, or said to him, "Can I get you a drink, sir?" in an English talk. And he turned to the flight attendant and he said, "A dozen drink and a dozen smoke." You reminded of that. But my family, in conclusion, because it is your night. It is your night, so we want to hear from you. But I want to conclude on this note. I want to conclude on this note because there's a representative in West Bastille. He named King Congress. And I like to talk the truth. I always talk the truth. The man could sing. Yes, he could sing. I'm telling you this as a singer. He could sing. But he cannot finish his song. He can't finish the song. And I always get disappointed in the director here. I don't know why he uncle don't help him to finish the songs. Congress won 2 crowns, but he got 4 trophies. women, he won out the competition, you know. He won out. But remember he said he was coming back. But when he decided to come back, he realized he was going to put up another woman, Miss Independence. And he won again. So the trophies he got don't belong to him. But truth be told, Congress is afraid of women. He's afraid of women. Although here we talk about election March 31st, I'm advised by the Attorney General that elections are constitutional in June in August 2020, right, AG? August 20. They said we have the elections March 31st. Then the friend, the Prime Minister, tell me nothing, so he got it in the bucket. But the PLP on Saturday announced a candidate. And that candidate is a woman, you know. And you know, Congress straight woman. That candidate is a woman. And I am going to prophesy tonight that after the next elections, a woman will lead this country. Mark my words. She is an astute woman, Akilo. She's an intelligent woman. She's a humble woman, and she's a beautiful woman. And she loves people. And that woman is Akilo Byron Business. Stand up to her. In the name of Almighty God, and in the name of His Son Jesus Christ, that young woman Akilo will be the next representative in the Constitution. Thank you. May God bless you all. May God bless this beloved nation of saints and leaders. 3 cheers for Akilo. You heard what he told you, he's a prophet. Yes. So, from tonight, when you see him, what will you call him? Prophet Patches. Prophet Patches. So when you see him, say Prophet Patches. Okay, we are now going to move the program along. And who is next? Who is next? Who knows who is next? Huh? Are you sure? Who is next? Our Honorable Prime Minister. Prime Minister, welcome.
Let's give our Master of Ceremonies another round of applause. Presiding over this, our third town hall in a series of community consultations. I want to thank all of you for becoming so much involved in the democracy at work in St. Kitts and Nevis. And it blesses my heart to see so many of you here tonight. I want to thank the cabinet colleagues who are here
for their turn up. Starting at the far right, I ask you to give a hand of welcome to the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, our Senior Minister, the Honorable Van Savory, our Attorney General, the Honorable Vincent Byron, our Minister of Public Infrastructure, the Honorable Ian Patches-Byron, Senator, the Honorable Wendy Phipps. We have with us our Minister of Tourism and the best performing Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Lindsay Grant. And he will excuse us in a while, I am advised. Perhaps he's going to take a cruise, but I don't know why he's late. But we are happy, despite competing commitments, he has chosen to come and to be part of this important consultation in Westminster. Right. And equally we want to recognize our Deputy Speaker, Senator Mrs. Akila Byron, and to say thank you to her for being a force for positive action in Westminster. Truth be told, if the people of Westminster want to get things done, it is only the caretaker in Westminster, the Honorable Akila Byron Nisbet, who is busy at work for the people of Westminster. Interestingly, Congress Maynard, who will never learn, I have observed his arrogance in the Parliament. You too will have. He hardly ever listens to the Speaker's advice and direction. And every ruling that the Speaker makes, he challenges. What a man he is. What a man. Because he showed from the very beginning that he will not be disciplined enough to work for on behalf of the people of Westminster. And I can recall with some measure of sadness our first sitting of the Parliament in which we were moved to elect. Well, it wasn't the first sitting, but we were moving to elect a new Speaker to succeed the Honorable Franklin Brand, who had resigned. And members of the Parliament were given an opportunity to do what has been done in every democracy, to commend and welcome the new Speaker to the Parliament and to wish the Speaker well. So important has this tradition been in the United Kingdom. It would have been the leader of government business and the leader of the opposition who would have welcomed the new Speaker to the position. And I was amazed that Congress Maynard, ill-disciplined, out of order and out of turn, disrespectful, when the Speaker said he thanked everyone for their support, he rose to object and to have recorded that the Speaker did not have the support of the members of the opposition. That he could not congratulate Speaker Perkins. From that day I know that they will be ill-disciplined, that they will show no respect. And it was a pity that he would be baptized as it were Even Marcella, who doesn't know better, ain't said nothing. Patrice Nisbet, he ain't said nothing. The man who bad since he's small, he ain't said nothing. The only one, he alone, Congress Maynard, said something which in the end it would have been better had he not said anything. Because he brought a bitterness to the parliament. A young man in Michael Perkins, who has been an honorable role model for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, had an opportunity for service, and another young man, he alone, was going to be the stumbling block. Inexcusable. Inexcusable. And that is why I contend that the people of West Bastia, when they evaluate what they have in Congress Maynard and they see the absolute potential of Senator Akila Byron, the people of West Bastia will choose wisely and return as the elected member for St. Christopher III, the Honorable Akila Byron. When he was with the Labour government, he walked up and down with Erasmus, and he pointed to a road here, there, and everywhere. And he said to the people then that the member for number 3, who was Sam Kanda, couldn't get anything done, that he was a waste of time, and that he, Congress Maynard, was going to get things done for the people of West Bastia. As long as they elected him. Well, the people there. And Congress is nowhere to be found. Nowhere to help the regular people in West Bastia. Anywhere at all. He is busy looking after himself. Missing in action. He is busy missing in action. And one young lady, a wife and a mother, a professional, has come forward and has said that she's willing to look after, to help the young people, the old people, the mothers and the sisters of West Bastia. I am so delighted by the classiness she has brought to representation, by the commitment she has brought to representation, and by the industry she has brought to representation. To put her with Congress is chalk to trees. And I'm saying to you that Akila Byron will work not only for the people of West Bastia when she's returned as the next representative for this constituency. She will work on behalf of everyone in St. Kitts and Nevis as a minister in the Team Unity Cabinet. Give her a round. We have to make up our mind in St. Kitts and Nevis whether we are going forward ever or backwards. Whether we return to the sicker side of politics which Denzel Douglas represents. The callous, the dehumanizing nature of the politics which Denzel Douglas represents. Or we will move forward with a group of patriotic citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis who have served you so excellently in 4 years and have outshone the work by the Douglas Regiment. You can't compare what we have been able to do in 4 short years with what Douglas then took. 20 plus years. And they haven't delivered. You go to the manifestos of the past. The second cruise spare was advertised in 2000. In 2004, the promise was that the second cruise spare will come by January 2005. No cruise spare under Douglas. The traffic lights, which were to come to Barstow and the built-out communities of Sandy Point and Kayard, never happened.
That's typical.
Stop it. Phase 3 of the hospital at Jane never happened. But all that did not happen and more are now happening on the team. So we have started a cruise spare, $100 million being mobilized in St. Kitts and Nevis. We didn't go overseas to borrow it. We went to local institutions. And we are investing in a well-needed infrastructure to sustain the beautiful record we have in cruise tourism. Give the Honorable Lindsay I am very pleased of what we have been able to accomplish. Growth in tourism, growth in stayover, growth in cruise. And the other day, sometimes we are not counting our blessings, as the song encourages us to do. Count our blessing, count it one by one, so that it may surprise you how much Team Unity has done. We need to have more a mind of gratitude and reflection and how fortunate we are. Just the other day, I asked a young person to research the OECS data and what was happening in tourism. And Antigua, which for years led the way in cruise tourism, relative to St. Kitts, way behind. Way behind in terms of cruise development. And I don't want to get into the controversy they have with the cruise line now. That apart, St. Kitts and Nevis, the only one that reached the 1 million cruise passengers in one tourism season to be designated as a market port. Not Antigua and Barbuda, not a mature destination like St. Lucia, certainly not Grenada, certainly not Dominica, but St. Kitts and Nevis, #1. Give yourself. And it is St. Kitts and Nevis that had the record of welcoming the largest cruise ship vessel to its port. In fact, we had 2 of the largest, and one day, give yourself a round of applause. It has been a fantastic performance by your government, and you know it. And that is why Les Roy was asking the questions tonight, and I listened because as a good politician, I must listen to hear. And when some of you were talking soft, I said to the driver, please turn up the volume because I don't know why you're talking so soft. You must talk hard and positively about the good work of your government, because in every nook and cranny of St. Kitts and Nevis, the poor and the work of people can be seen. You could talk about roads, you could talk about jobs, you could talk about the STEP program, you could talk about our Fresh Start support to local businesses. How $15+ million were given to the young people. In West Boston, persons got the money from the bank, open up all kind of businesses, trucking businesses, landscaping businesses, rental businesses, thanks to your team unit. We have been a high-performing government in every respect. In every respect. So that in 2019, our country is better than it was in 2015. Because it is better. So much more has been accomplished. While Denzel Douglas took us begging to the IMF to borrow $224 million easy dollars to prevent the shutdown of the civil service, to pay wages and salaries and allowances for that year in 2011, which amounted to near $180 million. That is his legacy, you know. The first Minister of Finance in our federation to have gone to the IMF begging and borrowing over $250 million to do the ordinary things of government, to pay the civil servants. That is why he had to wait every year for the IMF to give him a report. Mismanagement. So when the IMF came in and they said, it is our money, we will tell you how to spend it, he had to comply. He had to comply. Being the liar that he is, he said it is a homegrown program. Homegrown. So when you're 55, go home to cut back. 3 years, no increments for civil servants. 2 years. That was how they left the country. He introduced 17.5% VAT, 17% VAT, the highest introductory rate of VAT in the region, and food and educational supplies. There was, you may recall, an interesting debate in the parliament where Sean said, Lord, this government so wicked, they have 17% and poor people book Sean returns. And Douglas, you know, he could lie back. He lied because he said, no, nothing like that, Mr. Speaker. I challenge him, he must take it back. And Curtis Martin, John, educational supplies, said, well, the member for number 6 says, nothing like that. You must take it back. educational supplies clerk is part of that. And so, Sean said, all right, Sean went out, came back, brought evidence, went to purchase this chalk and other items of educational supply. The battery. He said, well, I don't know how that happened, I'm going to check it out. This will not have happened, I'm going to check it out. This honesty, characteristic of the leadership of Douglas. And that is why when you had the opportunity on the 16th of February 2015, you say you needed a West Star and you voted him out. And I am saying to you, nothing has changed. He has learned. And he will never learn. He was around, as the grandmother would say. And he was dead. And he has a vendetta in his mind. He wants to come back in government headquarters to see revenge on the people of St. Believers. You must not allow him to do that. He has a long list of names of people he has to deal with. And he has some bitter people like Congress Maynard and them writing up in books names of people who have supported PLP, who they have said betrayed them, and they want to deal with them. And that is why we say forward ever, backward never. We gave them a fair chance, you know. We were in no haste to move people up and down because we say St. Kitts and Nevis, the land of our birth, and everyone deserves a fair chance. And we said, so long as you are a civil servant and you are committed to do good, loyal work, we will work with you. But we will not let you move. We will not let you move. We will not let stupid. And if you want to sabotage the government, we will sabotage the government from outside. From outside. Those who are willing, we have them there. You see them and you know them. Because we have kept our promise. For us, it was an important part of the good governance agenda. Good governance, accepting the rules of the game, was critical to the sustaining of the good governance agenda and the survival of democracy. Core principles of what we are attempting. So I say to you, thank you for the faith and the confidence. And I know sometimes it has been hard for you because there are persons in government who you think are undermining your government, undermining your government, and you wish that the rod of correction would be swift and sharp. And we have said we will do due process. Because sometimes you have to give them, go to the length of the road. Because time, they say, longer than one. So don't get weary. Don't give up. And whatever evidence you have, bring forward the evidence. Because when we talk to the Attorney General can say, we want the evidence. So you have to have the evidence. Because we have been the best performing country in the region. made that point on Sunday. Everyone is coming, no one wants to go. Everyone is coming, no one wants to go. And they come here from the United States of America. They come here from Canada. They come here from Jamaica, Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, Africa, the Republic of Haiti, the Republic of Venezuela. They're all coming, and we welcome them all. Bienvenidos a la comunidad hispanicos. Bienvenidos a la comunidad de cubanos. Bienvenidos a la comunidad de Venezuela. Bienvenidos a la comunidad dominicana. Bienvenidos a la comunidad haitianos. Bienvenidas a mi país. Bienvenidos. Vamos a trabajar ambos para el desarrollo del país de San Cristóbal de Nieves. Entonces, bienvenidos. ¡Viva! ¡Viva la gente del mundo a mi país! Gracias para la contribución al desarrollo de mi país. En español. In English now. I say welcome to all the Hispanics, those from Cuba and Venezuela, and our friends here from the Dominican Republic. Miguel, Mario, Pepe, todos nosotros. Como sean, muy encantado de recibirles en el país. Thank you very much. I want to say to close soon by saying it blesses my heart when people come forward and acknowledge the difference that our program and policies, our programs have been making in their lives. Oh, thank you. We came in and so many people were having it hard all over the country. What a difference. We said that we will give you, as it were, a top-up, an income, an inflow of $500 to assist you to get a better quality of life and living. $500 mean that some means that going forward your electricity shouldn't be cut, your water should not be cut. You will keep covered with your rent going forward, and at least you should be able to eat. This is our country. This is not happening in the Dominican Republic. This is not happening in Haiti. This is not happening in America. But on the team unity, it is happening in St. Kitts and Nevis. Because for us, it is not an issue of charity. It is an issue of social justice. And we will expand it going forward. We have said that once you're getting less than $3,000, you qualify. And some people, of course, willful you call it, they try to beat the system. Some people move out from girlfriend say we don't want to mash up the family. Stay as one. Stay as one that you were before the program. And so we are trying to fine-tune that. Some persons, 2, 3, 4 members applying. All the different names and different titles, but the same people. And they are not to be in the program. And so we are tidying up the program. And we hurry now. In a month or two, we put that behind us. And we are ready again to go back out in the communities. So that those who for one reason or the other were not able to make it in the first have an opportunity. They didn't believe. They didn't believe. They now have an opportunity to move forward. I got today from the Accountant General a report on the program so far. And I should tell you that we are going to be paying in the last week of March. Quite a number of persons have brought forward their banking information. Those persons, their monies will be paid directly to their bank accounts that have been provided for greater convenience. And for those who do not yet or do not prefer that monies go to their bank account, sometimes it's a wise thing, because you may have on somebody else's name and they reach the bank before you, but they score your name down. So some people still insist they want to come and feel the check in their hand. And we are facilitating that. So on the 26th of March, the 29th of March, those who have submitted bank account information, monies will be paid to the account. 29th of March, you will get your next payment. And for those who want to feel the check, you will be paid on Saturday, the 30th of March, at the Inland Revenue Department. So that is how that will happen. Now, to date, we have in fact paid out over an average 3,553 households have benefited from it. An average 284 households from East Barstow, 428 households from Central Barstow. Yes, this reflects the size of Central Barstow, the McKnight and so on. The number 3, I'm going to start there because y'all make me tired. 304 households. In number 4, 376. In number 5, 374. In number 6, 389. Then look after everybody. I want you not to look at them in isolation, because when you look at the poverty data that is there, it reflected that number 6 was one of the poorest areas in the country. And it shows that Denzel Douglas left number 6 as he made it the poorest constituency in the country. And he became double rich. Douglas made millions of dollars from renting the Fireways property to the Taiwanese by himself. While that was happening and he was grabbing land and Losak Road, grabbing land from constituency number 8, 490. So when persons are talking, we are doing, we are assisting people everywhere. We have been assisting them. And in Nevis, the preliminary record reflected that 534 households have been assisted. Put your hands together. I want to thank all the officers of government, social development, statistics department, the accountant general, who have been working so hard with this particular program. And we will at a later date bring some information on how we will advance it. The other important program which I want to touch on briefly, and then I shall take a seat, is the hurricane relief program. First time in the history that so many persons benefited in the aftermath of a hurricane. Passionate government, government of love and consideration, government which is helping the poor and the not so poor. Over 2,000. Thank you. Say thank you, Lord. Thank you. I give the story of the lady in St. Paul's. Lord, to love her. And every time I call, and I'm not calling the name, you know, Douglas himself, take up himself, call the lady. Man, that bad man. Harassing the lady. When you got him up here, call up your name for up to tonight, and I call the lady. The lady called me and thanked me personally for assisting. Reminding me that for all the years Douglas had been there, for all the hurricanes, he never helped. And although he said he has a forgiving heart, he not forgiving the lady for talking the truth. The lady said, Prime Minister, praying for you, that God would bless me, that his light may shine upon me, and that he will prosper the government and watch me in my going out and my coming in. And for all the nice things the lady said to me, Douglas West. The woman said she prayed for me. She prayed for me in the morning, she prayed for me in the night. And when I asked her, what about lunchtime, what did she say? The bell is rung. Whenever the bell is rung, you will vote for the Team Unity administration, because you know one good term deserves another. Thank you. God bless you.
You finished clapping? Clap again. Okay. It's now time for our question and answer segment. We have some rules. You will ask your question, and if you are to make any comment, you will keep your comment brief. Very brief. You will also mention your name as you come to the microphone. And we started tonight by you telling the world, because it's not just the people here. We live in a global village, and people can hear you loud and clear all the way down in New Zealand, so far away, in Dubai, in Taiwan. And you have indicated tonight, mentioned tonight, some of what the government has done for you. And that is just a very small fraction that I heard tonight. Nonetheless, you are taking note, because the development is very positive for you. And the government is working for you. And it is visible for everybody to see. It is not a secret. When you're driving on the roads, you see it. Your houses, everybody is seeing it. Who don't want to see it is who don't want to see it. So we now invite your comments, we invite your questions. Oh, before you ask your question, Carl, Sugar City FM 90.3 is carrying the community consultation live. Win FM is also carrying it, and Freedom Radio is also carrying it. So there's a lot of choices.
Good night, everyone. Carl Brown. Honorable Van Semery, this question to you. It's concerning Social Security. Many people in the country, as civil servants, have a problem down at Social Security in terms of when you have two jobs. The problem is you're paying two Social Security under one status. When you get sick, you have to send in 2 sick leave. Social Security, government pays you your salary. Social Security pays you a large lump sum, and then a couple of weeks later, they call you and tell you you owe the government thousands of dollars. Mr. Minister, please do something about that. Because people making $1,800, $2,300, when you look, they're telling you owe 2008. Way past your salary, right? And although you will tell them, do not pay me from the government, pay me from my second job. No, we cannot do that. They paid you this lump sum of money, and then weeks later you have to pay back this large lump sum of money, and then you know you have commitment with your government salary. So you started in debt and you're ending up in debt. The other question is concerning the prisoners at the prison. We say we are rehabilitating them, giving them skill. They get in 1 to 12 and more subjects. But ministers, when they left prison, the government don't want to give them no job. Private sector don't want to give them no job with all the skill and all the subjects they have. And when the government advertise that jobs is there, hear the statement or the poem. Persons with criminal record need not to apply. Well, if you rehabilitate me and I out with all these subjects and all these skills, why I can't get a job now? So please look after the prisoners them after getting all these skills in prison and all these subjects when they come out. And the private sector too, work along with the government and the prisoners them to get jobs when they come out. Because we don't want the reoccurrence. Because I don't want them breaking my house and robbing me. I was a victim of robbery several years ago and losing a large sum of money. So I don't want to get robbed again. So I please look after them.
Okay. Thank you.
Good night. My name is Glenford Stapleton. I would like to thank the Prime Minister for helping the people of St. Kitts Nevis, fixing their roof and doing the good job. And some people in St. Thomas, some people in St. Martin would have liked the help that they can get, but they cannot get it. Some people do not have electricity. Like my auntie, she needs a roof sick in St. Thomas, but she cannot get the help. If she could have get the help from the Prime Minister, she would have been glad. But I am thanking Mr. Harris for the good job he's doing in St. Kitts and Nevis. Give a hand.
Family, good night. I'm here tonight to tell you all, thank you all for coming. And I'm glad that we all can be here together and united as one. We cannot put a rat to what trees. If we put a rat to what trees, it will be eaten off. Now, due to the fact of certain circumstances, I want to thank Mr. Keeler Byron for giving me a new brand roof and the Prime Minister for giving me a new brand roof. I also want to make sure and thank the Prime Minister for the $500 and so forth for he promise made, promise keep. And due to the fact of that there, I would like to find out from the PM how do I can pay my light bill, my water bill, and whatever bills that I have to pay out that $500, because I'm so thankful for that. And I'm asking this federation also to move and rally behind this Prime Minister. One of the reasons why I want the federation to rally behind this Prime Minister is because that this Prime Minister never take up the citizens' money and take it to Dominica. He spend the money with the people of St. Kitts Nevis and the small man of St. Kitts Nevis. And due to the fact of that, I'm saying we had a government in power for 20 years and they never looked after the federation and the people of the federation. This government kept the promises with the manifesto and they're doing well. When you have a good man, keep your good man. Woman, when you got a good man, keep your good man. What I'm saying, that this government, this team unity government, need to move forward, and we cannot afford to bring back the regime, to rob us blind. He done rob our $150 million from this federation, buy house in America, buy house in Dubai, buy house in Dominica, have right here in Buckley's estate, he have a big cane field up here, and he can canvas a half a cane field and different things like this here, and they're trying to get back in that they can pay off the debts and different things like this here and have really poor people. So please, poor people, stand behind your government, rally behind unity. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Good night, all. My name is Pat Lake. Mr. Amory, as you all know, I am an employee of Social Security Board for over 20 years. Mr. Amory, I'm seeking your permission that I can address Carl privately, because I don't really understand the question that he's asking, so maybe there's more that he would like to know. So I will address him privately, please, based on his concerns.
Okay.
Okay. Permission granted? Okay, I'll speak to Carl. Thank you.
Okay.
Good night to one and all, St. Johnson Village.
What's
Tonight,
your name?
My name is Harvey Leibert, Nivijon Kitishon. I'm happy to be here tonight to be a part of what's really going on in St. Kitts and Nevis. And I just want to ask Miss Byron Nisbet if she still lives in the constituency that she's supposed to be representing. Because you see, I look at what we are about to do in the next couple of months from now is to talk about representation. And if you want to represent people, why can't you live among the same people you want to represent, but you want to live up in the mountain? Now we are saying, you can live wherever you want, but I'm saying the people that you say you want to represent, you're supposed to live among them and feel the pulse of the people. Not want to go up in the mountain to live and then, because, you know, the people won't be able to walk to come that distance. So I'm saying to the people of St. Kitts, and number 3, make sure you rally with Akila Nisbet Byron, or whatever your name is, because she is the woman with the plan. Those guys don't have any plan. Let me explain something to you tonight. Now, just imagine, Saturday, he was on Inside the News with Mr. Dwyer Askapan. Dwyer is my good friend, mind you. But, you know, when I hear him say, he is a man about accountability, responsibility, honesty. I mean, what kind of credibility that Honorable Congress Maynard could have when he in bed with a bad man who's bad from Cincinnati and tell me that he had $1.4 billion in 2010, 2011, and after leaving office in 2015, leave us under the hand of the IMF, when my Prime Minister, present Prime Minister, have to pay $117 million to take us out the hand of the IMF. Now, that's a big insult to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. We are not so backward as he supposed. So I'm saying, rally with Akila, Byron Nisbet, that we can make sure, take home number 3. After we get number 3 and number 2, we can tell Douglas goodbye. If he don't want to resign, we're going to retire him. One more thing, Mr. PM. Mr. PM, I'm saying to you tonight, there's some complaints from the armed forces, which is the folks that work in the army area. They are saying that they're not happy with what's going on there. So I'm asking you to get on board with them one-on-one. Sometimes you go to the head and the head tell you everything is well. It is not so. I've been a supervisor for a long time. And I always tell people you got to learn to speak for yourself. So you need to get in touch with them one-on-one and find out what their grievances is. Because a lot of them planning to resign and find other jobs. May God bless you. Have a good night.
Go ahead.
My name is Glenville Mills, and I'm from the beautiful town of Sandy Point.
Tonight, I owe this government a sense of gratitude. When I look back in my life and recognize the many years I tried to get appointed under the former administration, having supported them for all my life, they never look at me. Tonight I want to commend the Honorable Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister. A man who not only deliver, but a man who keep his promises. I want to really help us to reflect, to see where we are now to where we were. I want us to be realistic. I want us to reflect, think, look back. Because if you compare a mere 4 years to the 20+ years, this government should go back in government with a stronger mandate. And I'm sending appeal to the entire federation. Never before in the history, before I was born, you hear people get $500 every month. This speaks volume. This is a significant achievement. And the people of this country must continue to rally behind the Team Unity government. God bless you.
Good night, and my name is Karen Hodge. Welcome. What I would like to know, because a lot of people, they're so happy about the roof program, and there are some people who are very, very ungrateful, and sometimes you go to them and they would say, all the money belongs to us. But back 20 years ago, we had hurricane and real hurricane, so Douglas was getting real money. So I would like somebody to really tell me exactly what he used to do with the money, why he never used to fix people's homes, and if anybody could find out what he used to do with the money, then they need to really go in St. Paul's and really talk to the people and tell them exactly what he used to do with the hurricane money.
Good question.
Good night, everybody. Honorable Prime Minister, Senior Minister, Mr. Vance Emery, Honorable Sean, my good friend, the Attorney General, Ian Patches Libert, the worker, the man with the hammer. You know what you're doing? Again, me bathrooms them at Port Zante. Thank you, Ian. You're the worker. And now you could do it. I want to say briefly tonight that the people in Constituency 3 must lift up that young lady Akil Byron. I saw something in that young girl, and I was reflecting before I reached here. The Prime Minister saw it before me. The first time I see this young girl in public, and a public forum, it ain't matter. She understands what I'm saying. It ain't matter. The young woman. And I see the potential where she could take this community. She got what it takes. And she deserves a chance. And I think she will get a chance. Because I see the young women in Constituency 3, they're rallying behind her. And we, in other constituencies, gotta do the same. Because a woman in the floor. We cannot, no man, no woman problem. It takes a woman to fix woman problem. And the majority of people in St. Kitts is women. And we have to rally behind this young woman. she have something special. So I'll try to look at her like me, because I don't do that. I don't see she have something special to come with. And bring the other talented young women into politics. We need young women into politics, especially when these guys don't so. We need young women. Stop afraid. This ain't afraid business. I used to afraid to come and talk, you know. But from since unity, bust up the chain. Are you come? Mr. Prime Minister, I want to ask me good friend from Bangladesh to stand up, because he's getting some serious problem in St. Kitts. A hard-working man at the port. When he got to national security, people down there giving him a terrible time. And I know the guy, he's not a bad man, just like a lot of Spanish. But I'm warning these people to pay the work permit. Do not in a gun tangle, because jam down will say send you home. We are not tolerating that. We want you all to do the right thing. We opening up we arms to you all, especially the Santo Domingans, who we know was there for us in the 30s and 40s, 50s and 60s. And please, all don't fail us. This gun problem have to solve. Mr. Prime Minister, I was asking myself why the RSS choose to do a forum tonight when they know we have a town hall meeting. The national security, I have a problem, you know. I have a problem.
Hi. Yeah, respect everyone. Castle, in my name. This is a message to the Attorney General. Attorney General Byron, may I ask you the question, what is the apology with the vote of, not no confidence, the integrity in public life and the freedom of information? Can I put my information to you or to the public, or can I apologize on the air and say, I do this or I do that? In other words, what I mean, that I believe this public of information and the freedom of information and integrity of public life is going to everybody who hear and who want to know. But I want to know if I could tell you my business or tell somebody my business or hold my business from somebody else of knowing or not they knowing. The apology come and say, well, I'm policy because I do this or I do that. But me tell you what I do. But you know what I do, but apology is what me do. So I want to know what is the apology mean for integrity in people's life, or the other word that mean freedom of information. Attorney General, please.
What is your name, sir?
Castle.
Okay. Just permit me just to make an announcement. The jam down the panel discussion with the the regional security system is tomorrow night at the Wesley Methodist Church Hall, which is the old boys' school, where it's from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. actually, and that is from the police. I got that notice today. So it is not tonight. Just want to make that clarification. Okay? As we heard earlier, our team over in the United Arab Emirates in Abu Dhabi doing very well. We have the Honorable Sean Richards, the Minister of Sports and the Deputy Prime Minister, Clarice Cotton, and we also have Ivor Blake, who is one of the members of the delegation. We would like to recognize among us Ambassador Michael Powell and Ambassador Sidney Osborne. I would also like, before you go, to give the ministers an opportunity to answer some of the questions that were posed tonight. And then you can ask your question. Sure.
Carl asked the question with respect to rehabilitation and what support mechanism or system would be available. Are you hearing? Okay. We are committed to assist those who have gone through a process of rehabilitation in finding new opportunities for engagement. And so, if there are persons who would have left the prisons suitably rehabilitated, we would be open to engaging them to see how best we can place them. Indeed, we had hired some time back a national of St. Kitts and Nevis, and part of our support to the prison involved taking note of persons who are soon to be released from prison and to go and match them with employers. And so that is an indication of the deep commitment we had to this particular effort. We will ensure that that process is given adequate resources to make it work. And the government would lead by example with respect to that matter. We can't force any ex-prisoner and any private party. That is a choice of the individual. We would, however, encourage persons to avoid stigmatizing those who have gone to prison, would have paid through their time there, and have now come back in the society, want to do an honest and decent job, and we encourage all to welcome them and to give them support. Some of the problems, of course, come from the view in society, because there have been a number of private businesses who said it is their customers who complain about the ex-prisoners working in their establishment, and to the extent that their customers express fear or anxiety, the business will react a certain way. The commitment I can give is that the government will try its endeavor best to be a model with respect to that. And we would want those who are given that second chance opportunity not to abuse it, not to abuse it, not to give cause for others to say, we told you so. So we will do our best with respect to the question of rehabilitating persons. I want to just add a little on the point which Mr. Stapleton made. I say Stapleton, but he probably carry. That's your title, or you carry your father's name? Stapleton, right. That's still his son, for those who know Tilly. But the point he was making is one of how fortunate we are in St. Kitts and Nevis, in St. Martin, in St. Croix, in St. Thomas, in Puerto Rico. They have not yet recovered from the hurricane, and they have big godfathers. Puerto Rico, St. Croix, St. Thomas, they have the most powerful country, United States of America, to bail them out. But they are still a far way behind. In St. Kitts and Nevis, using our own resources, we have come to the assistance, and over 2,000 families experience for the first time in their life the generosity and goodness of the Team Unity administration at work, in contrast to the last 20 years of the Douglas regime. So I want to thank you, Stapleton, for that point that you made. I commend all the others for their support and their advice on some of the things that the government should be doing. I take the point from Harvey Liebert, and we certainly will act with respect to that matter. The matter which Jam Down, I think, also raised with respect to our friend from Bangladesh is a matter that we will have to deal with one-on-one. It's difficult for us at the head table without knowing more to make a determination with respect to matters of work permit. But we will do the just thing and the right thing in the context of the rules of our country, the laws of the country. So again, I want to say thank you, and I think the Attorney General is ready to answer the question posed.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Casa, is it? Casa, yeah. You raised the question as to what is the state, as I understand it, what is the state of the integrity in public life legislation and the freedom of information. What I will tell you is that when the Team Unity movement came together in 2013, there were two planks that we ran on, and we motivated the people of this country to believe in what we were presenting to them. One was that we would provide a prosperity agenda to transform the economy, put people to work so that you could have double salaries every year at December, and to do a whole range of things that will move the country. And I would believe that most people would agree that we have fulfilled our promises in terms of our prosperity agenda. The second plank that we ran on was one of restoring democracy, good governance. And over the years, we have done a number of things that have led us to believe that we are working in that direction as well. We believe in the rule of law and adherence to the rule of law. And the rule of law basically means that we do what is right by the people. And I could go into a great deal of things, but the taste of the pudding really is the fact that the World Justice Project just recently has ranked St. Kitts and Nevis as the #1 in the OECS. There's a lot more to do. What I will tell you is that just last week, the Solicitor General and myself visited Washington to the OAS to fulfill one of our treaty obligations that St. Kitts and Nevis has signed up to ensure that we have a fight against corruption in our country. In 2004, the St. Kitts and Nevis signed the Inter-American Convention Against Corruption. Dr. Denzel Douglas did that. We have not heard about it all these years. In 2010, St. Kitts and Nevis signed up for the follow-up mechanism to ensure that we are doing this thing. And we have had 5 rounds of evaluations that have gone on to ensure that we are making the recommendations to improve on those commitments and recommendations. Last year, October, there was an on-site visit here in St. Kitts by a team to evaluate whether we were fulfilling those obligations. And so when we went to Washington last week, was to review the report, or to be reviewing the report that has now come forward, that will be put up on their website to show where we are, what are the recommendations that we in St. Kitts and Nevis need to do to strengthen our democracy so that we can say to the world that we run a clean bill of things here want to come and work here? Can the economy expand, bring investors here? And we are doing a good job along that line. Two of the factors involved in this question of good governance in terms of restoring our democracy was that, one, we said that we would introduce or operationalize what is known as integrity in public life legislation. What is it? What does it really mean? It is basically a code of conduct that all public servants must sign. So all permanent secretaries, all civil servants should sign a code of conduct of how they should behave. They should not be stealing. They should not be doing things out of order. And the second factor that public servants have to do to conform to this process of anti-corruption, to ensure that you have confidence in your government, that we are doing the right thing, is that we expect public servants above a certain rank to sign a declaration to say what you have, your assets, how you do your expenditure, what you own, how much money you have in the bank. And you need to do that every year to ensure that one year you have $100, next year you got $1 million. How you get it? And so you have, as it was, to prepare and present a regime, a system by which this is done. Everybody has to sign this declaration. But here's the problem. We believe, as the rule of law, that all of us have a right to privacy. Everybody has a right to privacy. It does not mean that when you do that in integrity in public life, that tomorrow it's on the street. Then you could ask what Minister Amory got, what the Prime Minister got, who and so got. That is not what it's for at all. Because this has to be private. It is the Constitution. It's not for you to put on the street what a civil servant have. That is not what integrity in public life means. So it's a very serious matter. And if it is that people are going to have confidence in government, when you give that private information, it must be secure. It has to be stored properly. It cannot reach on the street because somebody can get sued big time. So you have to prepare the process before you can move forward. And that is very critical for it to work properly, and the whole thing collapses. So it does mean that we must have proper storage facilities, computer systems. You must have proper rules and regulations. People cannot go and spread out people's news and business. That is not what it's for at all. On the contrary, it's just the opposite. It is meant to maintain the integrity of our public servants that work for you, work for all of us, that when they do anything, that they behave properly, that they keep to the straight and narrow, that they're not going to be taking bribes, they're not going to be doing things out of ordinary. It is critical that we believe that the people who have the public trust, that they maintain it properly. And that is what integrity in public life means. It's not for you to come and say, "Ma'am, let me know what you got," and put it on the street. It's totally not that at all. Similarly, freedom of information legislation has the same problem too, because you cannot go and get people's personal information. Can I go to the hospital and find out what your wife do, what she got, what if she got anything? That cannot happen at all. There are questions of privacy. Freedom of information allows us to ask and inquire into matters that are public, that can allow the government to give information about how it is done, that we are following the proper rules that are established. And so there is a certain amount of preparation that must be put in place before these things can be put into the public domain. It is very, very important. Otherwise, we will not be fulfilling the public's trust. It's very, very important that we do so. And I hope that answers your question at this point in time. Thank you.
Permit me to just add one thing to what the AG has said. Because what this Integrity in Public Life and the Freedom of Information Bill is seeking to do means that our people have to change the way they think about themselves and about each other. It will require a change in our approach to ethical behavior. We must not feel that if we are entrusted with a position, that our job is to get dirt on people and spread it. That whole concept of seeking to destroy and undermine and so on has to change in the way we behave in our country. And the AG was talking about it in a framework of the requirements and the procedure. But there's no procedure, there's no law which can dictate how people behave when they are entrusted with a position. That is something which you must do personally. You have to want to be a person of integrity if you are entrusted to perform and deal with these matters. You must be a person who can be trusted and you must be of good character. And if you are tempted to divulge anything, I think you should think twice, because the AG said somebody will get sued if they divulge. I know we operate under the guise of secrecy. We do it surreptitiously. That is, we leak it, we give it to a friend, and the friend passes it around. But I'll tell you one thing, every good friend got another friend. So don't let us fool ourselves. It requires us to change our attitudes, to change our behaviors, and the way we deal with matters which require us to be honest, people of integrity, and people who are trustworthy. I just wanted to add that, AG. I think it takes the human element into consideration. The other thing which I think in terms of the Social Security question, I want to thank Mrs. Lake for offering to deal with the matter on a one-on-one with Mr. Brown. But I will also say to Mr. Brown and those who have concerns that we will get the management to look at this matter and make a statement in respect of what appears from Mr. Brown's comment to be a matter of conflict, a matter of double kill, so that we can be clear on the way forward. I think sometimes you cannot respond to something which you don't have the evidence or the specific case. And I wouldn't want to speak out of turn. And I said I want to thank Mrs. Lake for volunteering to deal with that. And I will also give instructions to the CEO and the chairman of the board that we have to deal with this if it is now posing a problem. If, as Mr. Brown said, there is that problem. We'll straighten that out in short order. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think we'll take at least 3 more questions, and that's it. No sé si los dominicanos tienen una pregunta o comentario.
I would just like to permit me to adopt the protocol. Tonight, I promise you, brief. I would be brief.
Very brief.
Very brief. No. I said I would be very brief, and if you see, I don't normally do this, because when I get to talking about team unity, I feel like when they came to Jesus, and they said, why you don't ask your followers to shut up? And Jesus said, man, if they shut up, the very rocks would cry out. We don't want the rocks to start talking tonight. So let me speak, and speaker, if I go past 2 minutes, stop me. I just want to say tonight that I was fortunate to visit 2 events, 2 PLP events, the caucus of which I'm proudly a part, and the PLP convention, and both were a roaring success. Now, I said it. Okay, because if you clap, you're going to be taking up some of my 2 minutes. I warn you, speaker. Now, I saw therein the same degree of management and organizational skills that is symptomatic of what we are seeing in cabinet. Mr. Prime Minister, I want to thank you. I want to big you up in public because you're worthy. Eugene Hamilton, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, I just want to say right now that we are reconciled. It's very important. I did not know it. I want to thank you. Thank God that my family keeps good records. You came so far ahead of the others, but my family never loses a receipt. And they said, you supported me. I am sorry for misrepresenting you. We are reconciled. I'm going to work twice as hard to vindicate myself. I promise you that. It's almost gone. I just want to say right now that some people ask me why I always get through with unity. I'm going to tell you why. One, this is the formula. You keep your requests small, you keep them few, and you keep them far in between. Now, in closing, I cannot close without mentioning the Honorable Sam Conda tonight. It was because of his sacrifice why Team Unity came to life. When I was ill, everybody sees for 15 straight months, I haven't had a drop of liquor. The lady I'm now dating, she would have known if I am cheating because my tongue lives in her mouth. But anyway, I just want, in closing, I just want to say that Mr. Sam Conda is a man I respect, and he's a man that I honor, and he will not be written out of history. Mr. Sam Conda and your lovely wife, Jean, you are my heroes. And I want to thank you for having the capacity for subordinating personal desires to the larger national interest. That's what makes you iconic to me. And that same characteristic that you had yesterday, I know that you are still the same man today. You suffered an injustice up here. In closing, I'm going to say that if you know me well, if you want to see me go berserk, touch mine. Now, I'm thinking about that man who never lost a bet. He had a bird in his hand. He put up his money. Tell me if the bird is alive or dead. And if you said the bird was dead, then he opened his hand. It flew away. He stacked the deck. If you said it was alive, he crushed it until it died. That's plenipotentiary powers. You think you have plenipotentiary powers, Mr. Prime Minister? You think you have plenipotentiary powers? The plenipotentiary powers in this era lies in the hands of the voters. We are coming to you tonight.
Okay.
And we are asking you to give back this constituency to the exquisitely fabulous, the riveting, the gracious and committed Senator, Deputy Speaker, and Minister-to-be, Akila Byron. Let's hear it for Akila Byron.
Good. Thank you. Are there any more questions? We have one question after you. Go ahead.
My name is Verlin Warner, constituency 3, polling division 6. I am back again with the drain by my school. The children have to walk in mud, water, slime to get to school. The last time I spoke, the Honorable Phipps told me that there's somebody cleaning the drain. Since then, I haven't seen anybody cleaning the drain. Secondly, for quite a while now, Mr. Prime Minister, I have been hearing that Ms. Byron is the caretaker for the constituency. In a conversation with a few people from polling division 6, we would like to know when she would actually be launched and become the incoming representative. Thirdly, I was a non-established worker, then I became an auxiliary worker, and then something, and now I'm waiting to know that if I retire tomorrow, what are my benefits? You guys say you was working on something for quite a while now. I haven't been hearing anything about it. I would like to get some peace of mind about that. Fourthly, Mr. Prime Minister, I have been trying to have a one-on-one conversation with you for, now. Could you please indulge me in finding some time so we can have a one-on-one conversation? Thank you.
Okay. We would have one more question, and then we would invite the head of table to answer.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Zutu to Africa. I think about more like a statement. Me personally, I'm a policy guy. You know, granted, you have your mission, go to each constituency, sell your good work to the good people of St. Kitts and Nevis. But I would like to see one of these times or many other times that we actually come meet like this and actually have a discussion on policies, which I think that will actually help the people of St. Kitts better and understanding the government and their position. Then every time we come, we're glad for information. We're glad that the peer is building the school and all this other stuff, public life and integrity. But I think if we have discussions on policies, I think we will understand the government better and the government will understand we equally. All right.
Could you tell us your name, please?
Bassy Williams.
Okay. Thank you for your input. Head table.
We want to say thank you to Abassi for that suggestion. Certainly, as we engage, we are discussing policies. The question, for example, which Berlin posed with respect to the situation of quote-unquote auxiliary workers is a question of policy. How do you treat persons who have been for a long period of time rendering appropriate service to an employer? And so these discussions are, yes, for information sharing, and yes, for the persons in the communities to indicate what is on their mind and what it is they would want their leadership to know. And from those questions, you deduce where there are policy gaps and what needs to be done to assist and to improve the quality of life for our people. Certainly when the question came with regard to the rehabilitation effort, it speaks to a need to enunciate a policy with regards to life thereafter and what second chance mean in the context of one who would have spent some time in prison, and to empower them to move on in a positive way. We have had more substantive forum on a number of matters, and certainly as the forums evolve, we are going to have a different style of engagement. When we started our town halls, we used to have almost everybody speaking. We are now down to 2 speakers, which allows for more time for interaction with members who come out to these particular forums, and they're working well, and they've been advantageous to us engaging where the communities are. Specifically on the question of the auxiliary workers, we have put that, the latest position, and we will see if there's an updated status to report, is that the Chief Personnel Officer, the Accountant General, and several other persons have been engaged. They are part of a committee that is pursuing a resolution of this matter with the actuary. The actuary is a person who specializes in compensation and other plans, and in assessing the viability, whether those sources of funding are adequate to sustain what we want to do. That particular person is well known to the country in that he is the actuary for the Social Security Board. Mr. Osborne, not Sydney Osborne, but Mr. Osborne, who lives in Barbados, and he will be looking at this particular policy which we have articulated, or which has been articulated, and also at the severance and long service employees fund, so that the government could put them in a better spot. What happens now if someone, after serving a certain number of years, I'm not sure whether it's 10 or 15, but I think that the government policy has been to process it as if the situation had in fact obtained in law. And so persons are not disadvantaged as far as the gratuity is concerned. I think that was the matter. I'll let Patches deal with the issue of the road, or Wendy, that had been raised by Berlin. And the drains. Those are matters of public works and health, so the other ministers will deal with those.
Yes, thank you very much, Prime Minister, and good night to everyone. I thank Verlin for her question because it is something that she has had dogged focus on for some time. I myself went down to Boyd's to see for myself what she was speaking about. It appeared to have been a combination of 2 things, one being the slope of the drain and the other being the actual maintenance of the drain. I have conferred with my colleague Minister Ian Patches-Liebert, and it is something that we will look at, and I find it interesting that she would raise that question tonight, because just today Mr. Jermaine Lake, the Deputy Chief Environmental Health Officer, who I had go down to Boyd's when she came with the question the first time, said he went there and there's supposed to be an officer in charge. My issue is that unless people like Verlin speak up, some people who have the job of supervising others who get paid for doing nothing, you have to also ask, who are they supervising? I am not saying that is the issue at play, but what we have decided just today, as I spoke to Mr. Lake, is that Boyd's represents an area that we are not happy with the level of drain cleaning. Sandy Point is another one, as well as Lodge. And as a result of that, well, I have to go by the ones we have the most complaints first, okay? It's the squeaky hinge that get the oil first, okay? But we will be starting a process come Tuesday of next week where those 3 communities I mentioned, I will be going myself with them, Mr. Lake and the supervisor and the drain cleaner, so they could explain to us what is happening or not happening. And then we would take it from there, and if we need the support of Public Works in terms of resurfacing of the drain to help the water flow better, as well as dealing with the actual regular cleaning of the drain, we will do what we have to, because it is not a new problem. Thank you.
If I may add to what the Senator just said. Yes, the issue seems to be twofold. The regular cleaning of the drain and the lack thereof. And that's an issue we have in other areas. But specific to the boys area, as part of the road development in that area, we are going to look closely at the drainage, particularly what we call the storm drains, because the water flows from uphill from the Fairview in area, and it comes down. So what we intend to do is to try to take the water from the Bontewell School across to the gut, so it can flows to the gut at the back of the school, and that we believe will solve the problem, Verlin, we trust.
Okay. I want to call on the, you wanted something else, Honorable? To call on the Honorable Akila Byron Nisbet, your next representative, to give you some closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Lesroy. Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, the Honorable Vance Amory, the Honorable Vincent Byron, the Honorable Ian Patches-Liebert, and Senator Wendy Phipps, and all the good people present here tonight, and those listening. Good night to one and all. I remember seeing a quote sometime back that says, "Gratitude attracts more reasons to be grateful." And I do believe that in some town halls before, I would have mentioned it, but I do not think we understand how important it is and how incredibly privileged we are in St. Kitts and Nevis to have our government deciding to come to sit with us and to listen. I've heard persons from Trinidad and Tobago. I've had friends from Antigua. I have friends from St. Lucia who says, I never get that opportunity to be able to come to my community center to just speak with my government, my prime minister, deputy prime minister. These persons are known, you elect them, and then you don't see them or be able to touch or feel them. We can, and that's enough reasons to be grateful. It tells us that they want to hear from us. And let us think about the government of past. We never knew what was going on. We never understood where our money was being spent. We never understood what the reason was for a traveler, where they are going or why they are going. This government tells us everything. They're just an open book to us. And if that isn't good governance, then I don't know what is. And if that isn't integrity, then I don't know what is. And so we must be thankful for even those small things, recognizing the type of privilege that we have in St. Kitts and Nevis. And not only that, our ministers of government comes to church with us. They are there with us by our sick bed. They're there with us when we're in mourning. That does not happen anywhere else. And we have to understand how privileged we are. Gratitude attracts more reasons to be grateful. And so I would like to say thank you on behalf of the people of West Bastia in particular, since this is where we are tonight, for having all our ministers, the Prime Minister and his cabinet colleagues to come here and sit with us, to talk with us, to dialogue with us. And I would say pull them aside before they leave if you have more questions, because I'm sure they will be happy to entertain more questions before they leave tonight. And I must commend the Honorable Ian Patches-Liebert. Yes, I am persistent, but I am persistent because I know how important this is to the people of West Bastia to get their roads done. And I just want you all to recognize that he said, this is just the first phase. So the people in Buckley who have been asking, is only the first phase. He can come back with another phase again. We could touch him up then for the roads in Buckley. For the people in Trafalgar and Hainsmith, we'll touch him up then for the roads in Trafalgar and Hainsmith. And so just to add, I get an opportunity to come up here and ask, the drains, the ones in Trafalgar and Hainsmith, those aren't being cleaned either, so perhaps we need to look into. But I did speak with Mr. Lake, and he assured me they would work on trying to get that resolved. But I just want to say thank you once again to the ministers for being here, and thank you for coming. And you know, it's an opportunity to hear from everyone, and it's an opportunity for you to be a part of the decision-making in the government. And so you mustn't take that for granted. And every opportunity you can get to dialogue like this, make sure you come ready and prepared to ask your questions, get information. Take the information that you got and share it with those among you so that they can understand all of the incredible work that our Team Unity administration continues to do. Earlier this evening, we would have listed a long laundry list of things they have already achieved. And 5 years isn't over yet. So if they can achieve that in that short space of time, imagine when we have 5 more years, and 5 more after that, and 5 more after that. Just as the Prime Minister said, forward ever, backward never, because this is a government that cares. This is a government that understands what it means to truly think about putting people first and think about the development of this country. It's country above self when it comes to this government, and we see it in everything that they do. Don't be fooled by the naysayers. The naysayers want us to go back to a time when they could just hold on to all of the country's resources and not tell the people of this country what we're doing and how we're doing it and why we are doing it. And then before you know it, you hear once upon a time there were billions of dollars, it disappeared and nobody knows where it's gone. At least with our government, we know what's happening. And so we must ensure that come the next election, we give our government 5 more years. 5 more years of good governance. 5 more years of prosperity. 1 good term deserves the next. And gratitude attracts more reasons to be grateful. So we are being grateful for our Team Unity government. And that means that we're attracting more reasons for 5 years and beyond to be more grateful. Have a good evening, and I hope everyone have a safe journey back home.
Give the Honorable Akila Byron another round of applause. And of course, she already gave the vote of thanks. We just want to reiterate thanks to all the cabinet ministers headed by the Prime Minister, and all of you for coming out tonight, all of you who gave your comments, your suggestions, and asked your questions. Now, next week, the 26th, at the McKnight Community Center, which is in Central Bastille, constituency number 2, and we are expecting that you would come out again in your huge numbers at the McKnight Community Center. Now, on Thursday of this week, we are going to have a royal visit. The Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall will be visiting St. Kitts and Nevis. This Thursday, the 21st, you will have an opportunity to see them if you come out to the Berkeley Memorial and the National Museum, which we call the circus, which is the circus. The name really is Berkeley Memorial, but we know it as the circus. The circus in downtown Bastille. 4th Street, National Museum as well. So come out in your numbers to see them. Of course, the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, is heir to the throne. He will succeed Queen Elizabeth II. There are refreshments, so let us all enjoy ourselves. Thank you.